This is our content, sponsored by Geographics Media.
I'm a liar, barely feel remorse. I'm a cheater, letting my nature take its course.
Let's go.
Peace, what's good, sir?
What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? I just want to kick in. This is our content. My name is Step, aka Sincere Wisdom.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Step?
This week, man, I looked around and I realized people are just freaking mad, bro. People are just mad. Why are people just mad for no reason?
Man, you know what? There's a reason behind them being mad and angry, though, man. You know, it's a lot going on. The economy is crazy. We have a lot of people out there who are overworked but underpaid. We have people out there can't afford rent. They can't afford to eat because it's very expensive. You got some people out there that they're looking at social media and the way that they, perceive other people to live or be living currently, and then they feel inadequate because they can't match or live up to these false expectations that people are putting out there because they're putting false information about how they truly are living on social media. So you got a lot of folks depressed because they see these people getting out of these expensive cars and that they're renting, or they're in these expensive homes that are Airbnbs and stuff like that. But you can put anything in front of a camera. So I mean, and record a video, put it on social media. These folks don't know you, so you got a lot of folks out there that are feeling like they're inadequate because they don't have these things that they're looking at other people with, but these folks don't have it either. So that's the crazy thing about it. So I mean, people just walking around mad, man. But honestly, if it's funny I'm about to say this because here we are plugged in doing our podcast. But honestly, if people would unplug from that kind of stuff and just say, man, life is life. I'm where I am, and we're gonna live this thing out. We're gonna always strive to do better. But at the end of the day, it's not really about having all those things or stunting, for other people and all that. So I think that's going on. And then you just got haters out there, man. Like, we can just cut through all the junk, man. There's some haters out there, man, who just be hating on folks, and they just hateful people. They lame, they whack, so they just walking around mad. All this negativity in the world, you just got to be positive and keep it pushing.
I just need you to realize that you were having this perfectly good explanation about why people are angry, and then you suddenly appeared to turn angry yourself. When you started talking about haters, you got very angry. You sat up in the chair. Your whole facial expression changed. Do you have some other stuff that you want to get out, sir? Are you angry deep inside, my friend? Just argue.
Sometimes, but the thing about it is, haters don't make me angry. They annoy me sometimes. But like I said, I take stuff like that, and I'm as I've gotten older, I'm faster to take what they say that's negative or do that's negative and try to turn it into a positive. I mean, I know I appear to be more than that, but I'm just a human being.
You appear to be more than human, man. Just
I mean, to some people, I've been told that before, but
what did they say that you are if you're not human?
Meta-human.
Hey, I tell you, man, I just lately, the two things that people have been talking about lately with me this week was the two things that I heard. Man, people are so mean, and the other thing I heard, I'm tired. People are tired, and I just, I people watch. You people watch. We people watch. We're students of life. So
Right.
I look at some of the behaviors out there, man, and I come up with this theory that, it's nothing new under the sun. I'm sure somebody has started, but I'm trying to figure out why people are so quick. It requires zero thought to do something foul. But when it comes to doing something positive, people have trust issues
Right.
with people who are doing positive. Can't figure
Right.
it out. It seems like the world is upside down, and it's been that way for a while, but it only seems to get worse as days progress to me. I you know, the dumber it is, the crazier it is, the higher certain people's comfort level is to do it.
Right.
When it comes to doing stuff positive, people want to put their toe in the water first to make sure it's
Right.
safe. Like, you jump
Right.
into scalding hot water, but on a whim, dealing with non-trustworthy people and circumstances. But the things that are good and godly and trustworthy, righteous, where people are showing genuine kindness and love, we're to a point where people don't understand it. I was at the store
Yeah.
the other day, and I saw this couple, and they had multiple children, and they were walking in and out of the store. I was walking into the store, and I spoke. I spoke to the lady. I was like, "How you doing, ma'am? Peace, King. How you doing?" The brother, he just kind of looked, and then he checked his girl like, "Oh, so you know him?" And negative to a positive. I turned
Right.
around. I said, "Brother, I don't know her. Like, I don't know you. However, I'm just being nice and friendly. I'm applauding you for being a family man, for doing your thing." And he looked at me and he says to me, "You know something, man? It is good to be nice sometimes, bro." Like, and that did the situation. And I'm glad God was with me, because it could have turned so crazy. He could have wanted to fight or shoot or whatever the case. But I was happy it turned out the way that it did. And I really feel like I walked away from that situation with both of us being,
Yeah.
victors in that situation, because
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of made him, once I told him what it was, I think I kind of made him feel good about what he's doing in life, because so many people, and I don't understand why this is, but so many people have something negative to say when people do the right thing. It boggles my mind, bro. Here we are, uh, happy people. I had a woman tell me recently how much, she's like, "Step, you a good guy, and I got nothing but love for you. But when I first met you, I didn't like you because of the fact that you were happy. I didn't understand happiness. You were always," I was like, "because I'm jovial, because I'm, gregarious to a certain, point. I'm
Right.
loquacious to a certain point. You don't, you don't understand me because I'm not walking around ice grilling and talking
Right.
trash and talking. I'm a grown behind man. I don't want to talk about who I fought. I'm a grown behind man. I don't want to talk about who I'm knocking down or how many women I got. I'm a grown behind man. That's counterproductive. I don't
Right.
know. No one really cares. If you are
Right.
doing that as a listener, stop. No one cares. No one cares. And I can say that because this is our content. It belongs to us. We can say what we want to say. Like my
That's what's
shirt, like my shirt says, "Hey, you find it offensive. I find it funny. That's why I'm happier than you." I'm tired of people talking about how offended. "Oh, that's so offensive." No, it's you you're looking for something, but
Mhm.
you blaming the world for your stuff, and it's all about, to me, personal accountability. And I know
Right.
with us being on the web, us putting out a podcast on the internet, and it goes worldwide, Sure, I'm sure somebody's gonna feel offended by something, but I'm asking you, don't be offended. Just understand that we are people who want the world to be a better place. We want to spread love and show love. I think people are tired of freaking walking on eggshells, B.
Yeah,
It's
I know
not
about that.
it's not natural. It is
Not
not natural to maybe should I not say this? Should I not say that? Should I not do this? Should I not do that? And people, I always say it, man. Doors that people suck because people have become so self-centered.
yeah. I mean, we have cancel culture, man. Like people are just so when you have a certain level of fulfillment within yourself and whatever you're doing, you don't have to have the need or the desire to cancel people who think differently than you or talk differently or whatever. It's not, it's not something that you're just ready to jump to, as your response to the world around you to try to cancel stuff because you might be able to cancel what people say, but you can never cancel how they truly feel. And so that's the thing, that people confuse that with. They're like, okay, well, just because you can't say it, or we won't allow this on this platform, or we won't allow this at this place of business, or we won't allow this, wherever. Uh, and we let you go or get rid of you and try to act like you never existed. That's worse actually than just hearing the person out and creating some type of dialogue to where at least we might be able to find a middle ground and learn how to live on this earth as human beings. Because if you try to cancel me, it's gonna make me honestly in my mind double down, on how I feel because now not only are you telling me I can't feel a certain way, you're trying to tell me that I can't even exist, you know, on this planet because there's something wrong with me just being here if you're trying to cancel me. So it's like then it becomes, me against you, that there's a conflict there. And that's the thing that people don't get. And the thing about the cancel culture is it's like a gang type of mentality where it's like you wouldn't be doing all that if it was just me and you or whatever. It would be a whole different thing. But when you know that you have or feel like you have a certain group of people who are going to have your back and trying to silence me, then yeah. But that's like a weak way to do things. If you're not just going to stand up on your own, and just say hey whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing to really stand up against. It's just the fact that I may have a different opinion than you or whatever. So, but I ain't really worried about all that, man. Like it is what it is. I'm not going around trying to offend anybody or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I can't live my life in fear like that to where I can't, I have the right to exist on this earth just like anybody else. I'm gonna have my thoughts and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, me and you we're both gentlemen to a certain degree, so we do consider other people's feelings and stuff like that, before we speak. That's just a sign of maturity and wisdom, so to speak. If you just think about things, you're supposed to choose your words wisely anyway. You should always talk, always listen more than you talk. So when you listen more than you talk, you can assess a situation and kind of read the room, so to speak, and and see what's appropriate and what's not. Unless you just have an offensive spirit where you have to say something that is going to be offensive. I think that's one of the reasons why cancel culture has had the legs that it's standing on because you have a lot of folks walking around here trying to offend people. I'm not saying no names, but there are just people out there who we know through the years, whether it's been talk radio, whether it's been TV, TV shows, reality TV shows, talk shows, and stuff like that, where if it wasn't this stuff that's blatantly attempting to be offensive or whatever, it wouldn't even exist. And these folks have become rich off of that. So to me, cancel culture is like it was birthed out of that. When you have all these people who are trying to be offensive And now the folks who have been offended are like, well, you offended me, and now I found a group of people who feel the same way, and we're gonna combat this. The only thing is, it's misdirected, it's misguided. It's sometimes it's aimed, it's pointed towards people who weren't trying to be offensive. They were just
Correct.
having their own opinion and stuff like that. So I try to see both sides of it, because we grew up watching stuff, that at times where people were trying to offend people in an effort to gain popularity, to move the needle, so to speak, and to gain viewers and to get money or whatever. So there's two sides,
It
this
is
side, that side, and is in the middle.
correct. And so
You know,
with all with both sides and the middle, it all equals division.
you got that right.
It all equals division. And it's to the point where, I got my oil changed and I was in the dealership today, and
Yeah.
it was this lady. She was, she was probably in her, early to mid 30s.
Right.
She had a handicap. She had a walker, assisting her walk, and she was a larger woman, and her mother or grandmother was accompanying her, and they called them to get the car. The salesperson did, the service person did rather, and the young lady couldn't get up. She couldn't get out of the chair, and the young lady tried. The grandmother or mother, whoever she is, was really small, really petite lady, older lady,
Right.
and she was trying to help the other lady up out of the chair, and she couldn't because she was a big lady, and she's a big lady, and so she tried to bounce back in the chair to to assist the older lady with picking her up. Did work. So I ran over to where they were. Now, the lobby full. Nobody tried to help. B, listen, B. No one tried to help. And I started thinking to myself, is it because they scared to help, or have we become that self-centered to where we don't care? But anyway, story for another day. I helped her. I went and I, use my superior leg strength, and 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 I helped her get up. And you should have seen the gratitude that this woman had. And she was beautiful, man. Like you could feel her spirit exuding from her. But the way that lady lit up and said, "Thank you so much. Just thank you. You made my day." It made me feel. It made me feel like there's some hope. Now, beside her was a guy. He was sitting down beside her. I'm like, this man, you could have helped her. And she said to me, well, he offered to help, but I told him I was okay. And I started thinking to myself, he clearly saw that you were not okay. As a gentleman, he could have still helped. When I went over there, Jay, and helped this woman up, I was pulling her up. I looked down at that dude, and he was looking like this. I was like, did I help you up, or did this dude just use the force? Like he was sitting up there like he was using the force with his eyes closed, like Yoda was when he was lifting that TIE fighter out the swamp. And he sat in that position for like 30 seconds, man. Like, I'm like,
did you feel your feet lifting off the floor?
Nah, I felt her. She's probably a little bit lighter from the force. I'm like, this dude just used the force. So you didn't need me at all.
So really, he offered to help, and she turned him down, but he helped anyway.
Yeah, with the force.
He force pushed her.
He had his eyes closed, man.
He probably had to concentrate, like when Luke had to concentrate real hard when he pulled that X-wing out of that swamp in Dagobah.
In that situation, I'm using my strength, and this dude using the force trying to concentrate. It did nothing. He did nothing.
I think he did something.
He did not force push that woman out the chair. He force pushed her, he would have knocked everybody in the area down. Bro. He could have helped her. He didn't help her. He offered to help, and it wasn't a genuine offer. That's how I look at it.
Now, clearly that man was a Jedi. You need to respect that man.
Okay. I respect him. He was more of a Sith because he didn't care. He had his two middle fingers twisted up, and it looked like Yoda's hand or a West Coast OG using the Force to try to pick that woman up. Who he could have came around and helped me. He did not.
He helped.
We're gonna go with the whole Force push thing.
She got up.
I pulled that woman up. That dude.
I'm not gonna give you credit. I'm gonna give that dude credit because I like Jedi.
I like Jedi, but
you need to give that man his respect. Then put respect on the Jedi Academy.
I made a friend today. They were so nice, man, and I would give respect to the Jedi Master that didn't do anything. But listen, I'm giving the dude his props for being there, but I think he should have got up and helped and been a gentleman and told the older lady to move or push her out the way. Lift her out the way with the Force and push her, to another seat and be like, we got it. But I all jokes aside, I think that I was saddened because with all the people in there, that woman was just struggling trying to get up, and no one seemed to care because most of them was in there on their phone.
How'd she get out the car then?
Slowly. Regardless of the situation, that woman needed help. Listen, I appreciate you now for saying that, but you had to see the Jedi dude, man. He pushed himself back, man, and just had his arms up, man. I'm like, I looked at him like, what? You Obi-Wan Kenobi, man? Like, help me help her, man. That woman had the warmest, most beautiful smile, bro. Like it melted my heart, man, because she was just like, thank you so much. Because no one tried to help. She's like, thank you so much. Like I walked out with them, man. Like, yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. That's just who I am, bro. Like, they could have helped that. Now, in our society, these days, she could have been somebody sitting around crying about nothing for no reason, and everybody want to surround her and coddle her. Why are you crying? My shoes don't match my socks. Oh my God, it's a travesty. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Some people are afraid to help people because
they're afraid they're going to offend them. I'm going to offend her if I help her. If I touch her to try to help pull her up, she's going to think I'm trying to touch on her, but or whatever.
That's the part.
It's again, division.
Mm-hmm.
Divide, and it's division. I didn't care. Whatever happened, man. Sometimes you just have to do what you know is right, B. I don't think there's anything wrong, B, with doing what's right. Because I figured out that, and a friend of mine told me this a few months ago, that no good deed goes unpunished. And I've heard that a lot of times, but I'm willing to do what's right regardless of what happens, because if it's right, it's right. And people go, well, your right is different from somebody else's right. I think we all know what's right. What's right. I'm not going to attack people. What's right. I'm not going to beat up on people. I'm not going to rob people from, steal, hurt, injure. those are basic things that no one wants to happen to them. So if I see someone that's in pain, I'm going to try to help. If I see someone who is hungry, I'm going to try to feed them. Thirsty, I'm going to try to give them something to drink, or whatever, to help somebody, to serve. That's what God asks us to do. I'm
just
not
those universal things that we know.
right. Right.
Do.
I'm not here to. I'm not going to worry about all of that other hoopla. I've learned that people, I don't care who they are, respond to people who are genuinely kind to them once they figure out how to accept being treated kindly. The problem is they don't recognize. A lot of people don't recognize kindness that I've come across lately, and I don't. Again, I'm not generalizing by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying recently from a lot of my encounters with people and conversations with people, this is a recurring theme across the board. And I just felt the need to kind of talk about it. But I end up being accused of being someone who hate the Jedi, and I don't.
But see, that's cancel culture. Like that, somebody could say you're anti-Jedi, and then they could try to cancel you.
That listen, B, that may have been one of the most brilliant punchlines ever, because this somebody, you'll find some Star Wars fanatic that would get mad about that for no reason. And you're right. That's where we live at, man. Still, man, talking about all that sincere wisdom. He sincerely doesn't like the Jedi.
Hey, man. I just think it was nice that you helped that lady. I will say that I think people take our kindness. They take kindness in general. They take it as a weakness, and then they just don't appreciate. There's not an overall appreciation for kindness nowadays. When somebody, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's hard for people to accept it when it's being offered, because it's looked at as a weakness, and then B, it may also be looked at as an angle, because like people are always scamming and scheming nowadays. So if you're kind or nice to someone, they might look at it as you're setting them up to take something away from them. People don't understand, don't really know how to take it. If you genuinely do something nice for somebody, and you're not asking for anything in return. It's some weird stuff going on nowadays, man. It makes society second guess genuine, love and love as an action, and kindness, and even like forgiveness and all that type of stuff, man. Generosity, all those positive attributes that people can have. Once you lose that, man, you lost it. You know, you can't lose that, man. You gotta have that, no matter how crazy things are. You gotta hold on to that, because those things are reflective of God and His ways, and how He wants us to behave. And when you lose those things, you're disconnecting yourself from God's divine ways, and our divine purpose. When you separate yourself from stuff like that, so we had to hold on to that, man.
People question, I think, a lot of cases now in society, a lot of cases from stuff that I see, I think now people question the fruits of the spirit. They question the fruit of the spirit, but at the same token, again, you worry about people running schemes on you, but you accept the person or persons manipulating you with open arms, because people make excuses for that. Instead of saying this person shouldn't do this, well, he fell down and scraped his knee when he was 2 or 3 years old, and when he hurt him so bad, he never got over it. So he's just walking around kicking people in the knees. It's okay. That's a crazy example, but I mean, you feel what I'm saying? Like, people, a lot of times, people justify stuff, man.
Man, that brought back this story, man. I got man one time. All right, we were at this. It was me, Joe. Big up to Joe, man. Joe Leroy, man, Moss Point, Mississippi.
Moss
Big up,
Point.
man. But yeah, that we back in the day we were at this after party for Slum Village. It was a Slum Village concert, and I think it was Slum Village and India Irie. Headlining. But there was a Slum Village. It may have been that, or it may have been the Spit Kicker tour. And I think Slum Village was hosting a party. I forgot what it was. But anyway, it was a after party at this club, right? And man, we were at the party just chilling, and everybody kept saying Slum Village was gonna come through and maybe perform a song or two, whatever. And we just hanging out and just listening to the music or whatnot. And it was a club that was like this underground club where it's like stairs that go down into the club. And apparently the steps were like real slippery or something. Cause this big dude, he was about my size, maybe a little bigger, and he was real dressed up, man. He was dressed real nice. He was dressed up like Sinbad, and he was going down the steps, man. And he slipped. He slipped, man. And you know he was big, so it was loud, and he was coming down the steps, man. He slipped so hard, man, going down them steps, and man, he took a major L going down them steps into that club, man. I felt bad for that brother because he was real sharp, and he just stood there, man, with his hands in his pockets and just looked around for a little bit and just went back up the stairs and left, man. It looked like them cartoons when somebody like Tom and Jerry when they throw a banana out there on the ground and like somebody just slip on and they just slip and just keep flipping in the air.
Now, what my theory is about what's going on is in a lot now. He and three more big dudes wearing rayons and slippery shoes that have fallen down the stairs somewhere come together, and now they get mad at everybody for mentioning somebody falling down some steps, and then you can't talk about steps anymore. Like so fell down the steps, and it becomes a bad thing. And when you it's offensive because I fell down the steps at the Slum Village concert. I was just there trying to listen to some Dilla beats. I fell down the steps. People laughed at me. I didn't get a girl after that. And then it becomes you're mad at everybody from that point on who mentions falling. And this is what it feels like. You know, some. Too bad it wasn't a Jedi there to force push him back up the stairs so he could try it again. Take two. You know what I mean? But I
go to a doggone hip hop show with some tap shoes on. He goes away and sit down. Tapping down the stairs.
Dude, I mean, I'm just saying, man. It's just like once upon a time when you make that fall, you get up and you laugh it off, and you turn it into a positive, and
you know, laughing that off. Like you got.
Like, you gotta laugh it off. I failed in some pretty crazy places, man. I had to get up and play it off. I'm okay. You know, stuff happens.
This guy came in there and didn't know anybody. You see what I'm saying? So there's a big difference. If it's all crew, you can't just leave. You gotta come in anyway, and you just gotta let us clown you for all night. But we still love you. So you're going to be able to take it in a different way because it's not going to be the fear of the unknown.
You know something? Yeah. When you told it, ever since we've been talking about the mystery guy falling down some steps into the party, you talked about his outfit, and my mind keeps on going to Terrence Howard's outfit on Players Club. That orange outfit. When they put Dollar Bill in the trunk, like that outfit, it just keeps popping up in my head, man.
That was wow.
That's
Uh,
that's the outfit to keep popping up, man. I keep on thinking about some orange sherbet looking rayon pants and a fake Versace shirt and some Stacey
yeah, stuff
Adams.
like that. That's what he had on here, stuff like that. But
Again,
speak,
some found it offensive. We find it funny. That's why we're happy. You can't,
hey
man.
man,
You got to
but
laugh at some
what
stuff,
not?
man.
But since we are talking about hip hop in general, we just gotta say, uh, today's hip hop legend that we're going to talk about, or tonight's hip hop legend, whatever, wherever you at in the world right now, we're going to speak on is the mighty Professor X from the X Clan, one of my favorite hip hop personalities who I love dearly. Professor X. Never had an opportunity to meet the brother, meet the elder. Never heard him speak. I heard he was an excellent orator. Never saw X Clan perform, but big X Clan fan, big fan of Brother Jay, and I loved hearing Professor X's voice at the beginning and end of those X Clan songs. You know, guy's a legend, man. I love Professor X, man. He's dope.
I'm
So
glad.
we gotta remember the legends, man.
I'm glad that you brought him up. I was listening. I was running the other day, and on my little playlist, man, Tribal Jam came on. We are evolutionists for justice. Like, then glorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. With the key, X Clan is one of the most underrated groups ever to me.
I agree.
Ever to me. I saw a documentary recently where they were talking about in the documentary how Brother Jay actually went to high school with Q-Tip, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and the Jungle Brothers. And I think
Right.
he was some way involved with them. So I have to do the knowledge to see how the X Clan kind of formed and moved. But uh uh Professor X, the overseer, man, Sonny Carson was his pops, man. Civil
Right.
rights activist. So that was his dad. And yeah, he somebody should write a book about him because I'm sure that his life was extremely interesting, and people don't talk
Yeah.
about him. People talk about Brother J. People talk about Sugar Shaft. People talk about ISIS later on, Lin Q. But you don't hear a lot of talk about him. But he said some stuff. But would he be kind of considered the hype man, quote unquote, for the X Clan, even though he didn't do
I
hype
mean,
man stuff? He was just a
yeah. I'm about
messenger.
to say he didn't he didn't really. The thing about X Clan was they were a crew of well, they had two orators in the group X Clan, and it because they were both very articulate brothers, Brother J and Professor X. They were two of the most articulate rappers I've ever heard in my life. Although I don't necessarily consider Professor X a rapper, but it's just the way he would say certain things that would just it was so memorable. He was best served as a person who would who would bring in a song or an album and then kind of give you something to take with you at the end of the song. And that was such a special element that he brought to X Clan's music that to me he didn't really need to do anything else because he had a strong presence, and that's something that is missing in a lot of music now. But it's just the fact that those guys had a very strong presence, man. When I first saw X Clan, they looked very intimidating when you first look at them because these guys that are big. Brother Jay's a big guy, and they had all these
All the
piercings, and
piercings.
they had these big, yeah, they had these and stuff like that. Wasn't You didn't see stuff like that a lot back then when it came. You see all the stuff in people's nose and all that stuff now, and the ears and stuff. But with that, we just didn't have that. That was a very very different look back then. And then they were kind of big, and they had these boots on. They had like the real boots, like combat boots. They didn't have like Timberlands and
Right.
stuff like that. They had combat boots on, black cargo fatigue pants. They had all these big huge medallions that are very uncomfortable to wear. And they had 5 or 6 of them on. The leather hat with the African symbols in them and stuff, and they wasn't smiling at all. They was looking real mean. They wasn't playing. They had those big African staff, and they was pounding them down like that. Those guys were even the women were looking serious, and they were nice looking sisters, but they did not look like they were playing at all. And it was and Professor X gave you a little bit of comic relief, but when you really read between the lines and listen and dissect what he was saying, he wasn't playing around. He was saying some real stuff. And Professor X, man, is dope because he was not a clown. He was not a plaything. He said things that were funny, but that brother was bringing it, man. So you know, peace to Lumumba Carson. I believe that was his real name, man. So and like I always say, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green with a key at the crossroads.
Yeah, he said a lot, man. But I never been a black man. African, call it black man. But the Jasons of African steps in your movement or enhanced for improvement. They fucking listen to Pathway. Ready or not, man, they listen here, bro. They were one of the groups that kind of were catalysts in our minds at that time to explore more about where we are from as a people.
Right.
About and they don't get enough props for that to me either.
Right.
I don't know, and the album was good. Exodus was another good song on the second album, but man, I don't know what it was about Tribal Jam. I love Tribal Jam. I guess it's the whole, bang, bang, bop. I just love that's I don't know what it is about that, but it's just catchy to me. And so, man, we have come. Hey, the boys were eloquent. Professor X was elegant. He was eloquent.
Yeah, In the Ways of the Scales was my favorite song. That was the last song on the East Black.
You know something?
I absolutely love that song.
I feel better now. I'm glad that you sent a shout out, because again, I listened to them earlier this week, man. It took my cardio to the next level, man. I was super excited. I went through a phase this week of listening to jams like the X Clan. I even listened to Straight Out the Jungle. I was listening to the Jungle Brothers, and of course Tribe Called Quest always in heavy rotation. I guess I just listened to everybody that went to high school, though, guys. I guess it was a different time, man, and a time that made us strive to just be better and stronger and smarter, and
What were you listening to when you picked that lady up? You helped that lady get up.
You want to know the truth? I was listening to Our Content Practice Episode 3. I'm going to go ahead and put it out for the world to know. Now, this is something you never knew, but I'm going to say it today. Dude, I like Milli Vanilli. I did.
All right.
I like it. Was happy music, man. It was happy music.
Yeah, I mean,
girl, it's true. Yeah, that was just. I guess what I liked about it is because they used the paid in full beat on the whole album. It seemed
right.
Every few songs it popped up again, but it was just, those were happy songs, man. I'm so in love, girl. Like, I'm so in love, girl. Yes, it's true. Girl, it's true. Girl. You know what? Ooh,
I
ooh,
mean,
ooh.
you can't go wrong with that beat because when the song come on, you don't even think it's them. When I first heard that song, I thought it was Eric B and Rakim because it was that sample, and
Yeah,
that beat is always gonna be a dope beat to this day. Like you could have somebody rap or sing over that beat right now, and it'll still sound good because it's just one of the illest beats that has ever been made.
I don't know. I like I like that song. They had a love song. I like because in my job at that time, my, my
So
job,
they had a little song too.
yeah, man, they had a love song. I can't remember the
How they
name of it,
go?
but do the knowledge, man. You'll find it. I because I
You gonna
in
play
my
it at
job.
your wedding?
No, no, no. I'm
Oh, no,
not. No.
I thought you loved it.
I like. I just admitted to the listener to the world that I like Milli Vanilli. I did. I also like Terrence Trent D'Arby. Like I come on. I like music, man.
Yeah, like Terrence Trent D'Arby was the real deal. That brother can sing. And I don't know if you ever
Yes,
heard his second album. He had a second album that came out years after the first one, and that brother was going in on that album.
he can
That dude
sing.
can sing,
He
man.
can sing.
Terrence Trent D'Arby is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's real talent right there, man. That guy has a if I could sing, I would like to have a voice like that. Like if I
I
could
agree.
choose my voice and I was a singer, I want to sound something like that. Cause that
T-
dude had a great voice, man.
I tell you what,
Great voice
Terrence
and
Trent
good
D'Arby was
songwriting.
he was in love. He said he'd rather be in hell than be without that woman, man. Rather be in
I would never
hell.
sing nothing like
I would
that.
never say that, man. Sign your name across. Man, I used to like, hey, bro, I liked a lot of that. Man, come on. I'm producing, man. I was listening for samples. Like, I
You
used
real
to,
smooth dude, man.
man,
You real smooth. That's real smooth, man. You like that smooth stuff, man.
yeah, man, bro, you got to take a break from hip hop. I listened to everything except hip hop because I didn't want myself to sound like other people's stuff. I, I
Right.
used to hear Milli Vanilli whole album every night. And, and for some reason, Taylor Dane, Taylor to
Yeah, I
my
like Taylor.
heart. I do too. I started liking her.
I think
And
Taylor Dane's voice wasn't all that great, but I like her
it
style.
fit. It fit her. Hammer. Hammer had I like Hammer, man. Oh,
So I like him too.
Hammer was, bruh. Hammer had Hammer had just good music. You didn't want to like him for his, you know, you won't put him against Nas lyrically or something, but that dude had good music. He had a positive message, man.
My daughter loves "You Can't Touch This." When we play that, her favorite part is when they say, "Oh, oh, 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 oh."
He was different. People don't want to talk about that.
Was his first album self-titled, or was it Turn His Mother Out?
Turned his mother out, I think.
Yeah, I like that album. That album was good, but then the other stuff he had was okay. But that album was actually a hard album. Hammer was rapping hard, and it always shocked me how hard he was rapping, and then could just dance because you got to have some serious cardio going on if you can rap that hard, especially and dance. If you could just rap a little bit and dance that hard, you gotta be a athlete, man, because
He People gonna
he
get
was a
mad.
machine. Yeah,
He was the Michael Jackson of hip hop to me. Yeah.
yeah. So back then, it didn't matter if you were it didn't matter what you were doing. If you were going to dance, yeah, you could dance. But two things: you better dance good, and you better still be able to rap when you get done. Because if not, you get booed off the Apollo, whatever. So folks gave you they gave you your money's worth when you were performing back then. So I'm trying to tell you, man, it was no playing around back then. You had to bring it. It wasn't no in betweens, none of that. You don't sound like like you did on the album or whatever. You had to come with it, and that's the school that those guys came from. So I give Hammer much respect because that dude. I'm not gonna say he was no lyricist or nothing like that. He didn't have to be.